Friends, Dowellzrul here, and welcome back to another deck profile. And before we get into this, I wanted to let you know that if you hear any, crinkling of something in the background, I just burned myself at work, so nothing big, but I figured I would let you know in case you hear it. So, anyway, finally, I am so relieved to finally get this deck together, and I've been doing some playtesting with it, and this is one of the reasons why you haven't seen very consistent videos with the double video last week and then the none the week before. This deck has finally been put together, and I've been trying to playtest with it as much as possible, and what I found is that, well, obviously you know what it is, because Yajiro invader's right there, but what I found with it is that you end up just stalling, abusing Yajiro invader and the Ghost Bird of Bewitchment, and then you just stall out the game. That's basically what this deck seems to be the best at. Sure, there are some Break My Board cards with Black Rose Dragon, and there's a stall card, but a lot of it is just like Dawn Dragster, stall, Double Bird of Bewitchment, stall. Obviously, this isn't going to get anywhere in a tournament setting, but it's very fun to play casually with your friends. So, with that out of the way, let's get right into this. With the one, the only, the mascot of the deck, 3 Yajiro Invader. Now, this for those of you who haven't seen the previous 2 videos on this card is absolutely terrible. It's a level 5 Dark Reptile with the effect, with 2200 attack, 0 defense, and the effect of, if this card is normal or special summoned to a zone that is not the center monster zone, destroy this card. Once per turn, you can move this card to an unused adjacent main monster zone. Each time exactly one monster is normal or special summoned to your opponent's field, move this card to the adjacent main monster zone closer to that opponent's monster to destroy all other cards in this card's column. Now, it seems like a nice concept, but it's Dark Reptile and level 5. So not only is it hard to get on the field, there's like no support for the reptiles. And it definitely conflicts with our second this is what the second most used gimmick of the deck, which is 3 Ghost Bird of Bewitchment. Now, Ghost Bird of Bewitchment, what this does is it gains an effect depending on the monster zone it's in. So, the one you want is in the other monster zones, but in the leftmost zone, it gains 1000 attack and defense. In the rightmost zone, it can make up to 2 attacks during each battle phase. In the center zone, your opponent can't target this card with card effects. Also, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. In the other 2, so the second and the fourth, monsters in this column can't activate their effects, and that's the one you want. So the idea is to get either one or both Ghost Birds in both of the extra monster zone slots in the 2 and 4, so that way it locks your opponent out of activating the effects of the monsters in those zones. Now, there's a spell that'll help us abuse that later, but yeah. Next, we have the best searcher of the deck, which is Black Forest. So y'all probably know what it is. It's just Sangan, except it searches 1500 defense or less instead of attack, and it searches everything except Destrudo, and it searches every single monster in the deck except Destrudo and Summer Monk. So, yeah, it's really good in here. Next, we have 3 Armageddon Knight. This is either to set up for the Dark Arm Dragon or to send Destrudo to the grave to set up for a Synchro Summon. Next, we have 3 Apprentice Piper. This is an easy way to get out your Yajiro Invader or any other monsters you want to get out quickly. Because it gets say if someone runs it over in battle, it gets a flip effect to special summon, and then it also gets the destroyed effect to special summon, so 2 special summons off of the 1 monster, which is really great. And then we have 3 Perform Mage Trick Clown as just tribute fodder, or for rank 4 Xyz plays. Then we have, for our one-ofs, we have 1 damage juggler to search the trick line. 1 Dark Armed Dragon as boss monster for the deck outside of Yajiro and if this is for something outside of Yajiro or Ghostbird stall. Next we have Vanity's Fiend for more stall power. Then the 2 Unsearchables with Summoner Monk. This is to get out another level 4, whether it be Ghostbird or Armageddon Knight. And then Destrudo is for Synchro Summon plays. That is it for the monster cards. Now for the spells, we have 3 Summon Dice. This is a really easy way to get Yajiro Invader on board, because even though the Graveyard one might not be live most of the time, if you have Yajiro Invader in hand, the 5 and 6 makes it 5 and 6 very useful, and then 1 and 2 is also really useful with the extra normal summon, so who doesn't like an extra normal summon? Next, this is the card I was talking about with the Ghostbird Bewitchment staring contest. Basically what it does is it allows your opponent to, whenever your opponent summons a monster, then you can move one of your monsters. Whenever your opponent summons a monster to their extra monster zone, you can move one of your monsters to the same column as that monster. So say your opponent summons a monster to right here, to their extra monster zone, alright? And you have your Ghostbird of Bewitchment now. Then you can move it to right there. And the reason that is really good is because say it's an Xyz monster like this one, Ghostbird moves over here and prevents that monster from activating its effects. So, yeah, obviously won't negate on summon effects. It just says they can't activate their effects, so anything effects that would activate on summon would still activate, but any other effects that would activate, they can't use them, so. Alrighty, next we have 3 Allure of Darkness, because the only not dark monsters in the deck are the Perform Mages. 2 Reasoning, because the levels are all over the place. We have from level 3, I believe 3, no, we have from level 2, because the Apprentice Piper is level 2, and to level 6, to level 7, Dark Armed Dragon, but he can't be summoned off of it. Yeah, so to level 7 because of Destrudo. So yeah, there's a bunch of different levels in the deck, so Reasoning is definitely a good card. Monster Reborn, because Monster Reborn. Foolish Burial, because Foolish Burial. Rhoda, because Armageddon Knight. Monarch Stormforth, because Yajiro Invader's level 5. Soul Charge, because Soul Charge. And then, finally, we have a Solemn Warning, just because I needed a 40th card. And, I guess Upstart Goblin would work just as well in there, too. Next, for the extra deck, we have, for the Xyz monsters, Raider After Forstrix and King of the Feral Imps. Now, the reason that I have these 2 in there is they both search basically the main cards of the deck. This one is able to search Yajiro Invader, then this one is able to search your Ghostbird Bewitchment. Feel free to run 2 of them if you want, but I'm only running 1 because I only have 1 of them. And there's not that many there's level 4s in the deck, but there's not enough to warrant another Forstrix, when Yajiro is really the one I want to go into. Next, for the Synchro monsters, we have 1 Dong Dragster for the stall plays, and then Black Rose for the board breaker. Now for the extra deck, we have 2, for the Link monsters, we have 2 Wee Witch's Apprentice and a Proxy Dragon. Alright, and the reason I have Wee Witch's Apprentice is because, everything's a dark monster, so that extra 500 or 1,000 attack points is really helpful when you've stalled for, a bunch of turns, and then you can link it all the way for 2 Wee Witch's Apprentice, and then possibly a Dark Armed Dragon gets an extra 1,000 attack points. And then the Proxy Dragon is just to protect your stuff, because it protects if cards with a parenthesis would be destroyed, so it could protect against a Dark Hole, or a Slumber, or anything like that, or a Regeki, or anything that would destroy multiple cards. You could just pop one of your own, and then that'll be fine. And that is it for my Yajiro Invader deck. It's definitely been a long time coming, and don't know if it was worth the wait, but I really hope it was. So, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, all of that wonderful YouTube stuff. Hit the bell for notifications, and let me know down in the comments whether or not you like the deck, and what you would change about the deck, or any suggestions you have for the extra deck, because I'm definitely open for suggestions on this extra deck. And with that, I'm going to see you guys next time. Peace. Oh yeah, Discord in the description.